We're live. We're doing it. All right. Let's do this right now. Are you okay? You're good?
I'm good, I'm good.
You feel like you're in. You're in, all right? Let me get my, okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's SEO and IPAs. It's the fun weekly hangout about inbound marketing, entrepreneurship, and more. For cool people of all shapes, stripes, and colors, as always, I am Daniel Barrett here from Two Friendly Nerds. That is TWO, friendlynerds.com, the world's friendliest web design company. And with me, as always, is the brains behind the operation. Officially, the only reason anyone ever watches this show. She officially, last week, got her website rank up to Sergeant. It's Patti DeLessio from reinventinteractive.com. That is reinventinteractive.com. Patti, how are you, my wonderful friend?
I'm very good, my wonderful friend. Thank you, Sergeant. I'll take that.
Yeah, I thought that was one of my weaker ones, but I had to get it out of the way. I wrote some pretty cool ones.
Okay.
I kind of want to share one now because I feel like it makes no sense.
Okay.
But it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is like, hello everybody, welcome to SEO and IPAs or whatever, and be like, no, Patti DeLessio. She recently invented a file-sharing startup for Puerto Rican public relations called Proper Peer-to-Peer PRPR. Right? It's got a lot of P's and R's in it. That's the whole joke. I'm going to go ahead and check it off. I thought it was funny.
I get it.
Proper Peer-to-Peer PRPR.
I like, well, do you know, have we talked about how I wanted to try to buy a .pr?
Oh, did you realize? We haven't talked about that.
And it actually is Puerto Rico, and they're like thousands and thousands of dollars. I was like, that's just stupid. Yeah.
You can buy an island in Puerto Rico for that. So I like the abbreviation of that startup would be PP to PPRPR.
.pr.
Which is amazing. It's awesome. Excuse me, Patti.
You had a beer run, yes?
I had a beer run. I had to go pick up beers. I bought like the mixy matchy a couple weeks ago, and I've been a couple months ago, and I've been running off that ever since. But we were out, so I went and I was gonna get the mixy matchy because I get the maximum number of beers for the show that way, right? But the liquor store is by my office. It just has a weird the mix and match selection is very weird, right? And I was saying this to Michael when I came in. It was like they still have like Dogfish Head pumpkin ale like out there, and it's just kind of like, how often do you change these out, guys? Like at all, or so? I got a couple 4-packs.
Oh, good.
That's really cool. So why don't you go first? Why don't you share your beer? And then I'll share my beer, and we'll talk about it.
Okay. I have, and I don't know if we have done this one. I feel like I say that every week, but it's all starting to kind of blur together.
Yeah. Okay, I almost bought that one.
Ommegang, Hop House.
OMG, Ommegang.
That's how you say it.
Ommegang.
Have you ever been? It's on my list of breweries to visit, actually.
I have been to one brewery in my entire life. That is the Harpoon Brewery in Boston, and that was fun, but that's it.
Oh, that's what I do. We visit breweries. We're excited. I'm about to go visit Trogs in a couple weeks. That's out in
Trogs?
Trogs, yes.
Trogs
is terrific. Yeah, I'll come back with a full report of Beercation. But anyway, so this is Ommegang. This is Hop House. It is a dry hopped pale ale, which I was looking up just to make sure I understood what dry hopped is. So, from what I understand, it's aromatic hops that don't add to the bitterness. It's just adding to the nose here, to the aroma. Okay. Yeah, hops have a higher percentage of fragile aromatic hop oils needed for dry hopping. So all the noble hops, as well as most of the low alpha aromatic varieties, are appropriate for dry hopping. So
shit hops, as we like to call them. There's the noble hops.
Yes.
And then those pieces of shit.
The proletariat, right? Anyway, it is beautiful. I don't believe I've had this before, so it's got a really, you're into the golden color. This is a really kind of beautiful.
Yeah, very nice looking
beer, right? It's got a nice, sweet kind of aroma. Of course, I love hoppy beer, so this is I like it, and it actually is like that dry sensation where the flavor just kind of has a real dry finish. It doesn't really stick around, but it's very flavorful. I like it.
Is it like super hoppy, or it doesn't taste like with the bitterness you get from hops? It's just more in the nose.
Exactly. Yep. It's not bitter. It's definitely dry. Do you remember back? There was a point where the dry beers were really fashionable. Do you remember that whole fad with the
like '87?
Shut up.
I don't get beer. I'm in Connecticut. We don't have beer fads, okay? It's just you go to the store, whatever's there is there.
There's there. Anyway.
Go to your house, you're alone, there's no one around. That's what living in Connecticut is like.
All the beers served in a, as a 40 in a bag, right?
All beers come in 40s in Connecticut. It's true.
Okay. So anyway, love this. Ommegang, again, you guys totally rock. Beautiful brewery.
Consistently incredible brewery. Right?
It really is. Consistent. All their stuff is amazing. And and cheers. So you went on a beer run today. You were completely depleted. And what are you going with today?
Yes, I was completely depleted. So I was like,
deflated.
Out of the office. Yeah. So this week I went a beer run. I decided to get something I haven't tried before. So I got pretty much solely because of the name. I literally put down another beer so I could get this one. Got the Green Flash Palate Wrecker.
Oh, love it.
Yeah? You've had this one?
Oh, I've had it, yes. Yeah. I love that's a great brewery.
Yeah, so 6 pounds of hops per barrel. Complex double brewing process of mashing and sparging.
Yes.
Basically, it's got a lot of hops. It's 9.5% alcohol. And it's an imperial ale, hop forward and aggressive. So here we go. It's got this nice. That's a nice dark. That's like.
Yes.
You need to drink some water. Like that's what your doctor would say. It's like you're hydrated. Really nice smell. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. Did it wreck it? Punch it?
I see why they say that.
Yes.
Wow. That's good. All the Imperials, right? They're always kind of like, woo, okay, it's a little hot in here now. That's very good. Really hoppy, right? Still got the bitter is still going on. Like, I really like it. It's very good. I can see why this is kind of like drink one of them.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, but very, very nice. A little sweet, even maybe. I don't know.
Well, sometimes that happens because you have a lot of malt in those as well. So that's where the sweetness comes in. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Good.
Very good. So we've got the Green Flash Palate Wrecker. We've got the Ommegang Hop House.
Yes.
Those will be in the show notes for the week. You guys can look for those beers, see if you can order them or get them where you live.
Yes.
So very cool. So let's talk about SEO. So I'll intro to this week's article. We'll toss back and forth. So is that cool with you? Good?
Yeah. I'm going to bring it up now.
All right, cool. Yeah, actually, let me bring it up. We'll pop it on the screen for folks. So this week we are talking about an article that was in Moz that I found. And actually, Patti, immediately thought of you because he does kind of talk about PR a little bit and the sort of intersection of PR and SEO. But this article is by a young, handsome man by the name of Samuel Scott, and it's about owned versus earned media. And if you're not totally sure what that means, I wasn't totally immediate kind of clued into how he's using these designations, but essentially what he's talking about is if you write a piece of content, right, there's kind of two parts of any content strategy. There's the content that you're making, how you make it, who it's for, all that stuff. Yep. And then there's where you put that piece of content, right? So you've got this option where you can either put it on your own website or you can share that piece of content through other content network, or you could post it to another brand's website or do a guest blog or whatever. right? So that's the difference between owned media, which is stuff that you own. It's on your own website, your own channels. That has its own kind of set of challenges and positives and pluses and cons and all that. And then you've got content that you share via other places, like, for example, he used LinkedIn for an example, or for his own kind of instance of posting this on Moz, means he can't post it on his own website. So you're getting in front of a new audience, new people, but you don't own that channel, and therefore you don't really own what happens to that piece of content after that fact. There's a lot of stuff in this article that to unpack. We're talking about brands as media companies, right? So, whether companies should really think of themselves as kind of like media outlets rather than just brands doing whatever. We've got this question of, what you're trying to get done with a piece of content. So there's a lot of really interesting, thought-provoking stuff, and I thought it would be an excellent way to kind of jump into a conversation about where you put your content, right? Because I think especially SEO articles and stuff, the kind of stuff we talk about on this show, a lot of it's about what to make, right? How do I make my piece of content? There's not a whole lot that gets into what to do with that piece of content after you made it. Where do you put it? What do you do with it? So I thought this was pretty interesting. I thought it was a cool article. Patti, let me kind of pitch it over to you. This is sort of in your wheelhouse, right? You talk a lot, or you work a lot with public relations and the kind of intersection of PR and SEO, and this sort of gets into that a little bit. But what kind of jumped out to you about the article that you liked or didn't like or agreed with, didn't disagree with? And then kind of how does that relate to what you do with your clients?
Yeah, I thought it was a great article. I've the public speaking talks that I've given, I always dive into this owned, earned, paid kind of idea as far as what to do with your media. I loved the way Samuel broke this down into what the considerations were. Ask yourself these questions. Are you creating it this way? Then make it on your own blog and on your own website, right? That's where.
You give us, like, the brief rundown, like.
Yeah.
According to the article, right, or even just talk about your own process for how you do this. Like, how do you decide if I just wrote a blog post and I think it's a cat's pajamas, and that's what it's about. I run a company. We sell pajamas for cats. And it's called Your Cat's Pajamas.
Yeah.
I wrote this blog post. It's great. And it's called.
Go ahead.
It's called, like, Mittens for Kittens, How to Put Footy Pajamas on a Cat by Daniel Barrett. And it's all about that. So, like, what do I think about in terms of where I put that piece of content? Should I always just post it on my blog no matter what?
Right. Well, Samuel breaks it out for you. Now we're jumping kind of toward the end of the article here, and this is where he talks about those questions as to whether or not it should live permanently and forever on your website or your blog, right? Or whether or not someone else should publish it for you and get and have it there. So as far as owned goes, his first question is this an opportunity to forever rank for kittens, mittens, what was it? Put pajamas on your cat.
Yeah, Mittens for Kittens, How to Put Footy Pajamas on Your Cat by Daniel Barrett, founder and CEO of thecatspajamas.com, pajamas for your cats, /catpajamas.edu.
Okay. Terrific. Yeah. So if there's an opportunity for that category to be evergreen, so forever you want to be able to drive traffic organically, you want that to kind of live on your site, right? So the answer to that question is yes. I want to be known as, the Cat's Pajamas is my domain, and I want to be able to own this content and use it that way. Also, if you're going to sell, say, a sales video product on precisely how to get those cats into those pajamas, then if it's going to be part of your sales funnel, then yeah. So those are the two questions. Should it be an owned media? Samuel's brilliant. Love you. And, this makes a whole lot of sense. Now, as far as earned media, it may make sense if you want to reach a totally new audience. Say Cat Fancy answered your email and you attempted to publish on their website, right? It may be
in the cat industry, we call it publishing.
So if there was an opportunity for an opportunity to get this article onto an earned media, so again, on like Cat Fancy, you got to stop cracking me up. I'm not going to get through this. if the opportunity there is great to introduce you and your brand to an audience that does not already know about you, then that is a tremendous, marketing opportunity.
So, like, how do you draw the line, though? So, let's say my cat pajama startup is just starting out. Okay, so we're new, right?
Okay.
So, of course, I want to organically rank for stuff. I want to do that, right? And I also want to get in front of new people that don't know about me. So, like, when you're new, are you just always going for earned media, right? Or is it kind of like, well, okay, I want my core. I'm going to do like 5 awesome blog posts on my own site. Then I'm going to go out and do guest posting. I guess it's like if you're putting together a proactive strategy for someone, how do you decide like what to do when?
Yeah.
If like, especially if you don't already have a blog post, right? Because in this case, it's kind of like, well, okay, I have this thing that I know I want to do. So how do I kind of take a step before that and say, like, what do I want to do, or what's going to be most valuable to me?
Right. Well, I think that's an interesting question, because this article isn't talking about a brand new launch of a blog. Okay, if you were asking me, I would advise to build your blog, build a base there of articles and content. You know what I mean? First, otherwise, when you drive people to it, there's not going to be anything there of interest to kind of captivate them or have them, there's going to be nothing to engage with that audience if you drive them there, right? So
and also we can think about if I'm trying to build links to individual pieces of content. So, it's a pretty common tactic, right? When you do a guest blog post, you link to other posts you've already done, right? So, or related posts or whatever, right? So if I'm trying to throw myself, with the understanding of the person I'm publishing with, right? Not in a sneaky way, but I'm trying to throw myself some posts to kind of lead people deeper into my content. It's good to have some content there already.
Yeah, of course.
So is the earned media thing more of like a mid-tier strategy, where it's like I have some stuff, I'm trying to drive more people to stuff, or like if I had a startup, I mean, I guess it depends on the situation. I was just going to use the example, like let's say I'm like, okay, look, cat pajamas, I know there's a market for it, but the big players, the feline pajama industrial complex, keep me down. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like crowdfund it. I'm going to kickstart it. Although cats is called kitty start, kit start. Anyway, so if I'm doing that, right? So if I'm like, okay, I've got a week, I got to drive as many people as possible. Well, I guess that's a little different because you don't really have a sort of a core content block on Kickstarter, right? But then it's like I just go straight to guest blogging, and I'm like, look, how can I get in front of, all the outsider cat people or whatever? So I guess I don't really know my question. I guess my question is like, again, it's like you're starting with a clean slate. Let's say you're just starting up your company, right? A lot of people that watch this, right? They're relatively new. They don't have a lot of traffic. They don't have a lot of stuff going on. So they're putting together a strategy for the first time.
Yeah.
How do I take this idea and say, like, what do I do when? So if you sit down with me and I'm a client, what would you tell me? Like, how much do I blog before I guest blog, or do I not have to?
No, I think you need content. You need to, so if you're just starting, you need to build somewhat of a meaningful arsenal of content if that's what you want to be known for. You need to build that expertise. You need to be able to communicate and, stand as the expert in the cat's pajamas. So if you've got a site with just the domain and no, it's completely shallow, it's not helpful. But, there's a piece of this article, if I can kind of bring us back to the top, Dan, where he talks about what is content exactly. Do you see this? Where he's
different types of content.
What is content exactly? Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
He's talking about the function of content. I think that this is a really kind of smart breakdown. So again, this just to get away from the I'm brand new and just bought a domain name and don't have any content yet. Let's raise it up just a little bit. I like the way he thinks about content here. Okay. So the function of content, you should have. You should identify a goal of the article, so of the cat's pajamas, right? You should have your audience fully researched. You should understand what your messaging and positioning is, your channel research. So again, that's the delivery mechanism of the article or the content that you're creating, right? You should have, then he says content creation, campaign execution, and then measuring those results. So make sure that you have in place an opportunity to measure how that content performs, so that you can, measure it over time and see how it, do more of what works and less of what doesn't, right?
And this gets to the idea, right, that, and we've talked about this before on the show, right, where we're thinking about each individual. You're not just writing a blog post and putting it out into the world.
Right.
You're sitting down, you're thinking about a campaign, like any other campaign, if it's a marketing campaign, advertising campaign,
right,
public relations campaign, anything, saying, and you're working it like that. So exactly saying, like, what's my goal, who's it for, how am I going to position it, doing all the research. Then only, like, in this list, we're like 3/4 of the way through it already.
Right.
Then we make the content.
Right. Yeah, and then he says something that I thought was, really smart, and I love this, Samuel, where he says that what content is it's a message packaged as content that is sent out via a channel to an audience.
I don't know what that means.
No, I thought it was...
That's some stuff. That's like saying, I'm like, look. It's like this. Like, look. I'm gonna break it down for you. All a combustion engine is a machine that provides energy to a combustion chamber that then combusts and turns it into energy. And, like, yes, I get that it's simpler now.
It comes down to I think this really spoke to me. I have to say it really resonated to me. It's a message. What is the message that you're sending? Okay, let's concentrate on the message. Let's wrap that message in the content, right?
Okay, so walk me through the process. You ask me the question, I'll answer you back. No, seriously.
Okay, cat's pajamas. What is the message that you want to send?
Okay. Cats love wearing footy pajamas, and it's good for them.
Okay.
It's healthy. It'll make your cat healthier.
Okay. So now let's blow that out into content. Are we going to have imagery? Is it going to be an infographic? Is it going to be a video? Of course it has to be a video, a cat video.
I think an infographic.
Okay, an infographic of why cats like it, and okay.
Yeah.
And then there's thinking about the channel opportunities. Is this let's get back to those questions. Is this a piece that will garner you organic traffic over time?
Yes. It's related to my core product. Right.
Although because it's an infographic, you may choose to put it in social media or something because it's not like a blog.
Right.
It could live on your...
Maybe do Pinterest.
Okay, Pinterest.
I feel like there's a lot of
cat people love Pinterest.
People love cats. They're on Pinterest.
That's where they are. They totally. Oh my God! I just poured my beer all over my desk.
All right. Well, let me distract from that while you try not to destroy your. Oh, it's all foam. Very nice.
Foam. Okay.
But I do get what you're saying. Now that we kind of did it, and I was sort of joking in the beginning, but actually, I kind of get it. It's like, what's the goal? What are we doing? And then, like, that kind of drives what you're making and where you're going to put it, right? So we're sort of working backwards a little bit.
Or you can do a bottom up. You could say, what is the audience? Where are they? What channel are they on? Okay, what content do they like to consume, whether it be infographics, video, blog post, Facebook post, and then you kind of re-rack it and say, what is that message? Okay, I want them to know this. Okay, then I'm gonna, I like the bottom up of this diagram here.
Bottoms up is the name of one of our cat pajama lines. Flappy behind, they're like with the buttons,
You just okay. Stop it! You're killing me. Okay.
Sorry. Sorry, but I'm not sorry.
The part that I think is interesting, actually, I understand that owned is your website, right? It's something, if it's an article or a great corner piece that you want to, and I know that you have this. You've been blogging. You have articles that you show for now that drive traffic to your website that you wrote years ago, right?
Yep.
You do, right? Okay. So there's that. I kind of feel ownership over my social media channels. I feel like they're mine, right? I
Yeah,
mean, I
see,
know
I
that.
think that's a mistake because it's not yours,
Well,
right? Because and I know you know this, right? But it's like they take the whole Facebook page reach kind of thing.
oh, that's killing me. Yeah.
So it's like it's like the problem with thinking about your Facebook page, for example, people that like you on Facebook, as similar to a mailing list, of course, is that Facebook can decide at the drop of a hat that they don't want to show anything to that list. You don't really own that list. They own the list.
You're right. Okay, okay. I'll retract that entirely, completely.
Good. Good. I win the debate. 10 points for Gryffindor.
Oh shit.
Actually, I wanted to draw because we're getting close to the end, but I wanted to draw real quick attention to the end, which I thought was I thought it was a real cool trick.
The LinkedIn Google Plus, yes.
Yeah. So
Brilliant.
talking about, and this is actually something that I was looking to get into. It was something that I was kind of looking into because I'm doing a fair amount of LinkedIn work, just kind of building my audience on LinkedIn because that's where a lot of my clients tend to be. So LinkedIn Pulse, which is kind of like LinkedIn's content publishing sort of platform where you can post content and they'll push it out to people that aren't necessarily in your network, right? That's the way it works. And
is that paid?
What's that?
Is that paid?
I don't think it's paid.
Okay.
I don't think it's paid. I think there's an algorithm that kind of puts content in people's feeds based on likes and, like any other algorithm based on a bunch of different stuff. I actually don't know a ton about it, something that I've kind of been interested in. So he uses LinkedIn Pulse as an example of a way that you can both publish content on your own and then republish it in earned media. And so he uses the example of he posts something on his blog, he immediately gets it on Google Plus, which of course is connecting in Google's system the idea that like, okay, I own this piece of content related to this web property in my website. And then he says he waits about 30 minutes. You can see right here he waits about 30 minutes, and then he goes and publishes it on LinkedIn Pulse. And what LinkedIn Pulse, he says he assumes, and this is also something that I kind of noticed, is that they will promote content that is unique to LinkedIn Pulse more heavily. Okay. So you can post stuff that's been on your own blog, but they like it more, at least they seem to like it more, if it's something that is unique to LinkedIn. Okay. And so they'll kind of publish it or kind of push it out a little more aggressively. So he waits like 15 minutes and then posts it on LinkedIn Pulse as well. So he's kind of posted it everywhere. But because LinkedIn doesn't see the post yet in the regular search engine the search engine placements, right? It's not in the SERPs yet. Mm-hmm. They then assume that it's unique to LinkedIn, and then they promote it more aggressively. Now, it's as a specific tactic. I mean, it's like anything else in SEO, right? It's like it's probably not going to last. It'll probably change in 3 months or whatever. But it's an interesting example of him kind of threading the needle and doing both things at once. He's doing owned media and earned media, and so of course it doesn't have to be one or the other. Right. And you could easily do a deal with some sort of, it's not something we really talked about here, but even do a joint venture partnership with somebody where you say, look, I published these posts on my blog post. I know that they were really popular, so what I'd love to do is like bundle these together with you and do an affiliate link, and any business I get from it, I'll pay you 20% or something like that, right? So there are kind of middle grounds between owned and earned media, and you threw in paid media as an additional category, which is also really important, right? So yeah, it's just I thought that was really interesting. It was cool. It sort of got me thinking more about LinkedIn Pulse, which is something I wanted to do. So neat little trick at the end there, and kind of a good map to a good article, I'd have to say. So nice job.
Thank you, Samuel. Another thing to say too is that he does make the distinction if you are doing that earned, avenue, make it be high quality, right? So go after those, better sites, better domains. Go for the cat fancy and not just the,
kittylitter.com.
Right. Other friend that also blogs about cats. You don't want to give that stuff away to anybody. You want to make sure that where you're sharing that amazing content, that's going to, you want them to have a really good audience that you also share a parallel affinity with, right? That may also like you, so that you can partner with that interest and garner that engagement. So they need to be, you know, a worthwhile kind of partnership, like you said, or you know, worth your time, you know, in kind of guest blogging essentially, right? Unless you're paying, and then that's where paid gets a little bit interesting, right? Is if you actually have to pay a publication to publish your article, and then there's always
I've
how that's
a lot of research into sort of various paid models and joint venture partnerships and stuff. So as we come into that, we'll talk about that here for sure. I think what we can all agree on that cat pajamas.
Yes.
We've only just scratched the surface.
Oh damn, Dan, you're just full of them. Shut
I'm full of something, all right. Anyway, let's pause our conversation for the moment because we're right at 12:30 and we have to end. But if you watched this episode, we really appreciate it. And if you missed part of it or you missed most of it and you want to see the recording will be live tomorrow. Just check out YouTube or go to twofriendlynerds.com/hangout. That's twofriendlynerds.com/hangout to see all our past episodes, blog posts, show notes, links to our beers, etc. We'll be back same bat time, same bat channel, Wednesday, noon, Eastern Standard Time if you want to watch us live. Patti, thank you so much. As always, you're so helpful and so smart. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
And to everybody else that's out there, we appreciate you. Please tune in next week. And as always, optimize responsibly.
Optimize responsibly.
All right. Bye, guys. We'll talk to you soon.